Good morning, sir. Are you Dusty Melvin Hicks?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hicks, I'm Judge Middleton. I think we've met. You're here on 2 trespass charges. Let's take a look at these. We just had a lady that was here on 2 different trespasses. You got a ticket on April 20th for trespass. Let's take a look at that one. That is the Goodwill store in Three Rivers. I think you've been trespassed from that whole plaza. You didn't show up. I did a bench warrant with a hold. Let's see how long you've been in jail. 17 days. You also have a felony case pending. Mr. Tim George is the city attorney for Three Rivers. Mr. George?
I had the felony with him this morning. You mind if I sit up?
No, certainly.
I think there may be something.
All right, well, let me get his other case. Then he has another trespass, which is 24371. And then he has a felony resisting obstructing. Mr. John Bush has been appointed to represent you on the resisting obstructing case. And then we have these trespass cases, and I just lost Mr. George. Mr. Bush, what's the status here as far as you know?
He's in jail right now. There's a misdemeanor offer on the resisting obstructing case. I have concerns about his competency based upon my discussions with him. I don't know if the forensic center is the appropriate direction to go at this point.
Well, let's talk a little bit.
No. And Judge, I was just checking to make sure that you had the pretrial paperwork.
Yeah, I do. Thanks, Tim. 24663OM and 24670. All right, we've got a dilemma here. Mr. George, absent any other issues, would you dismiss 2 trespasses for a plea to 1?
They're all the same place, Your Honor. They're all 3 at that strip mall. But I will just say that we did have an initial pretrial last week. I had some of those same concerns. I knew that he had this felony case today with Mr. Bush, so that's why I asked for the pretrial to be today.
Mr. Hicks, you're here. You've been in jail for 17 days. You keep going over to the Goodwill store, and you're going over there, and they told you not to come back. Then it ended up, you got into a scuffle with the police, and you got charged with resisting obstructing. Where have you been staying?
I was staying around the Goodwill area at that time. Goodwill themselves seem to be okay with me there. Dollar General does. They all seem fine. They keep asking why the police are bothering me. They say they don't call the police. From my family and the relations to Goodwill, the family of Goodwill and the Dollar General, and the history of my name and of Dusty, I should have a right of being able to be around the Dollar General and Goodwill for over 100 and some feet, which means I wouldn't be trespassing.
Where do you actually stay?
I'm waiting for Keystone.
But I mean, right now, are you staying in the field behind Goodwill?
It would be off to the side of it, yeah.
All right, that's what they don't like.
I off to the concrete, not the field.
But it's not your field.
No, I don't know. TSC and me have agreements for them mowing the grass there and up to the fence line there. And the sidewalk was laid by me when I was a child, but means the sidewalk is separately owned than the empty building they said I was trespassing at. It's not same affiliated as the building. There's a stamp on the ground. I do have a picture of it on my phone, but it states that I do own the sidewalk. And also the parkway there gives me rights to stay there as well for my heritage rights. And the fence used to be 5 to 6 inches from the building, not the fence that's in the field. So anywhere from that 5 inches or 6 inches from the building back to some apartments is considered property of heritage of Dusty.
Property of what?
In the heritage of Dusty Hicks.
Okay.
Which states on a lot of the buildings.
Where are you from originally, Mr. Hicks?
3 Rivers, Michigan.
Who are your folks?
Terry L. Hicks and Carol L. Hicks.
Did you go to Three Rivers High School?
Yes, sir.
What was your graduation year?
95.
Well, then it says you resist obstructed a couple of Three Rivers police officers. What is the misdemeanor offer?
Attempted out.
What have you done since you got out of high school?
Employment, raised a family.
What kind of stuff?
Construction down there in Middlebury.
Okay. Well, here's the dilemma we're in, Mr. Hicks. You've got 3 trespasses. You're staying on property that isn't yours. There's no such thing as the heritage of Dusty Hicks that would allow you to have some ownership of this. They don't want homeless people camping behind these strip malls, so the city keeps citing you for this.
They said I
All
could.
right, so the city attorney has offered to dismiss 2 of the trespass counts if you plead to 1. In which case I would give you 17 days in jail, credit 17 days. The other charge is a felony, punishable by up to 2 years imprisonment, 2 counts. Prosecutors agreed to dismiss both of those counts for a plea to attempted to resist or obstruct a police officer, which really isn't that hard to do. My concern, if we send you to the forensic center for a psychological evaluation, you're going to be in jail for months. It'll be October before we get the result back. So I can't tell. You seem intelligent. You understand everything I'm saying. You're clearly answering my questions. Been in jail for 17 days. You're not under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. Do you take any prescription medication?
There's no reason to.
All right. So do you understand everything I'm saying?
We're having a conversation.
Okay. Well, the difference is if you plead to these charges, I can let you out of jail. If you don't, we're going to set some further proceedings and you could be here for a while. So let's start with the trespass charges. Do you acknowledge that the city of Three Rivers had told you not to be on those properties?
The police had, but they never showed me or the owner was never there to state that he called, that there was.
All right.
I don't know if it was a real phone call or not. That's
all right. So
someone could be just mad at me because they steal things from me down there.
The problem is if I let you out of jail, you're going to go right back there.
Well, I don't want to go right back there, but I do my grocery shopping there.
No,
I'm going to Keystone as soon. I mean, if I,
All right. So are you willing to admit to one of the trespass charges?
Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson?
Just for the record, attorneys to my left, Mr. Bush and Mr. George, have more information than I do. But for the record, given even the balance of what you were discussing, I do believe he should have some kind of assessment before he enters any plea.
Well, we're not going to do a forensic evaluation on 3 trespasses. We may do a forensic evaluation on the resisting and obstructing.
And I realize he has these other felonies, and so perhaps that would be the basis for that. And I realize the trespass is stretching it, but because he has that felony, he does have that option. And so I'm putting that on the record that I think he should have that option before any plea is entered on any of these cases.
Does that mean like counseling?
Well,
Counseling?
Yeah.
I've had counseling.
Well,
we're talking about
But
3 times in my life.
Well, all right.
So
Ms.
They said I'm
Jackson,
Okay.
are you concurring with their proposal that we get a forensic evaluation?
No, I've had.
No, just a minute, Mr. Hicks.
Oh,
Yes, Your Honor. And well, whatever I'm not sure where the other cases are presently because I wasn't a party to it, but it sounds like that there was contemplation of asking for that or going in that direction on the felony case. So if that's the case, it would apply to, at this point to the misdemeanor, even though eventually maybe these will be outright dismissed. I don't know, but if he's not competent for the felony, he's certainly not competent for the misdemeanor plea.
I would, all right.
Is there a way, excuse me, I completely agree that it's going to take months. That's why I didn't actually make that. I raised it as a concern. Is there a way to be looked at as pivotal and maybe get an update or whatever? We can move forward with that.
Well, we'll leave it on for prelim and see if we can get Lisa or somebody to deal with them. So I'll leave a felony R&O case set for prelim for July 2nd. Well, yeah, that doesn't happen magically. Perhaps as his defense attorney, you could contact Pivotal and say,
I understand they're really behind, so I don't mind trying. I think Lisa has a better chance, but I would
yes, I would start with Lisa also. Mr. Hicks,
yes, sir.
issues here. If you're sent to the forensic center for a psychiatric evaluation as to your competence has to do with what is your state of mind now? Do you understand the nature of the proceedings? Are you able to assist in your defense? I've been having a nice conversation with you. You're polite, you're respectful, you understand everything, but you may have some baseline delusions that you own this property and you're causing a recurring problem in Three Rivers. But if I do that, you're going to be in jail for months. There may be some middle ground short of doing that. Plus, that's a very valuable resource, and there isn't enough of it to go to explore some mental health intervention here and continue all of these.
I've already been to counseling before, and
Yes.
apparently I didn't need them. I'm here, I mean, not here, but.
Well, you're living on the street. You're estranged from your family.
Well, my parents have passed on. I
Okay.
don't get along well with my brother. My grandma's, she in the old folks home living with my uncle,
Who's your brother?
Buck Hicks,
Okay.
Willard, Virginia King, and my grandparents. But they're all dying. They're getting old.
Well, Buck Hicks is old.
He's getting old. He's 7 years older than me.
All right. I remember years ago, I dealt with him on an issue. All right, 1:00. Mr. George, you don't need to be back because you've made a plea offer of one count.
Yes, sir.
On count of trespass. All right, Mr. Hicks, we're going to work on this. Probably someone from named Lisa is going to be contacting you at the jail and see what our options are. All right, thank you. You're good to go. Thank you all.
My Miranda rights haven't been read to me yet. Does that state any or mean anything?
No, people sometimes have the mistaken belief that you have to be advised of your Miranda rights. They only have to advise you of your Miranda rights if they want to ask you anything.
Mhm.
And if they do, and they want to use your statements against you, but there's no so all-encompassing, you have to be charged with your Miranda rights before you can be charged with something. All right, you go with the court officer. We'll work on the other stuff. All right, Mr. Hicks, you're good to go. We have returned to the preliminary examination and other matters on Dusty Hicks. Mr. Hicks is here with his lawyer, Mr. John Bush. He is in custody. He's charged in file 24998 with 2 counts of resisting and obstructing a police officer as a habitual offender. He also has 6 trespass or disorderly person charges from the city of Three Rivers. We were here on the 24th. I brought the wrong files. Brought tomorrow's files. Laura, would you bring me the Dusty Hicks file? It's in my top tray for this afternoon. At the hearing, Mr. Hicks and I had quite a discussion. The offer was a misdemeanor, dismissed the other misdemeanors. He's now been in jail for 24 days. Or somebody was. I guess I took it upon myself to contact Lisa Inatelli at the jail. And she is our mental health liaison. And I wrote an email and I CC'd it to Tim George, Jeanette Jackson, David Marvin, John Bush, and it was to Lisa, but I never actually sent it. I found it in my drafts this morning. So, Mr. Hicks, I had asked, I found it this afternoon, to have Lisa from the jail meet with you. You've been in jail now for 24 days. We have all of these trespass charges that have been filed against you, and they want to keep you out of that plaza. The resisting obstructing charge allegedly occurred on June 8th. The trespasses start in January. There's a disorderly person in file 24153 from January 23rd. There's a trespass in file 24619 from April 14th. There's a trespass in 24371 from February 8th. There is a trespass in file 24569 from April 8th. There is another trespass, 24663 from April 20th. And then there's a trespass from April 23rd, and the closest one is June. As I indicated, the city would take a plea to one, dismiss all of the others, and time served 24 days. The problematic case, and the bigger one, is the felony case, where the city offered to, or the county prosecutor offered to reduce it to attempted resisting obstructing a police officer. The problem is you believe that somehow you have ownership or some property interest in a parcel of parking lot there in that plaza. Mr. Hicks, have you given this some thought since I talked to you last week?
I didn't know I assaulted any police officer.
Well, it's resisting, let's see specifically, which is different than assaulting.
I don't know how I'd be charged with that.
Yes, that's why this was.
No, the thought is through my family heritage, and a lot of my family owned a lot of property in the area, and some of the right for me to be in the area when they had built these places and moved in, like Dollar General and Goodwill, stated I had the right to be around there over 100 or 200 feet around the building. I was in an empty area of that building, so I wasn't bothering anyone. And no one came and told me that I was trespassing. The police just show up and say I am.
Well,
I don't know if anyone.
That's not true.
They keep asking me when I
well,
go
the owner keeps calling and saying, please get this guy out of here.
from California.
I'm not sure where he
He
is.
said he lives in California because I asked why wasn't he down there, or I thought I asked, may not have, but I thought he had to be there just like anybody else to witness that I was the trespasser or I get to see them.
No, he doesn't. Anyway, there
So I
was.
feel I was being a little bit by the police. It's the same police most of the time, but
Well, it's the same shift, so we're at
That
the
makes
same point we were at.
yeah, no, I wasn't. It's just the tribal and the thing in the center, that park, that's affiliated with my bloodline and my family. That's another reason why I would be allowed to be down there. The history of the 7 tribes. It's just like the 3 chiefs of Three Rivers or Princess Mishawaka. You know, she was born here in Three Rivers, so you know it's all heritage, and I'm part of that heritage. So I don't see how I was trespassing. And the symbols on my hand match the pavement. The symbols are dusty. The noble bird, no, it's even in the cell I'm sitting in, the electrical wires, the.
Your Honor, I don't know if it's a benefit.
Yeah, I don't
to keep
know.
talking.
We're at the same loggerheads we were. I don't think we have any choice. I'm going to refer Mr. Hicks for competency evaluation.
Excuse.
I'm going to send you
May I
to the
ask why?
forensic center because you have a delusional belief that somehow you have some tribal interest in this property and you continue to go back to it and you continue to be
Well,
arrested.
you asked me why.
Well,
Didn't I
I
answer
believe
why?
you're telling me.
You're right, but you was asking me that.
Well, I did, and
Oh.
so I'm not mad at you.
Oh, I just thought you saying you're
No,
like a priest
but
or
I
something.
don't. Yes,
I'm part of the Indian.
I think even if you were full-blooded Indian, I'm not sure that you have a claim to ownership of this property. And you and I just
There is
can't.
paperwork somewhere about the sidewalk. Like the symbol is on the sidewalk. I took pictures, but it's in my backpack.
Paperwork somewhere in some alternate universe. The problem is in this case, the police came and they ended up having a big struggle. And you were quite agitated, whether you remembered or not. It was a struggle there in the parking lot, and there were pepper spray and 2 pairs of handcuffs, and you were quite agitated when you got to the jail. And no matter how many times me or the police or someone tells you you can't go back there, you continue to believe that you can go back there. So the question is, are you competent to assist your counsel in defending your case? And are you able to understand the nature of the proceedings against you? I think you understand the charges, but I think you have a delusion that you have a defense. We have a man in Three Rivers, he's not here anymore, but he had what mental health called a baseline delusion that he owned all of the Shell stations. He did not. And he kept going into the Shell stations and pouring himself a cup of coffee and ordering the staff around. And he got arrested about 42 times, literally. When he was on his medication, he did much better. I don't really want to do this, but I don't think I have a choice. We were concerned about how long this would take, but we can't ignore the pink elephant in the room that we're looking at a mental health issue. So I'm still going to ask Lisa Iantelli to meet with you, but I'm going to sign an order for a competency evaluation. Mr. O'Bear, the people concur?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bush?
I think it's necessary, Your Honor. I've had that concern.
Do this to June 17th.
Excuse me, you said June 17th?
September, excuse me.
September 17th?
Can be faster. After Lisa meets with him, perhaps we could address a bond issue. But at this point, I'm not confident that if I let him out, he isn't going to go right back to where he was.
I'd like to be out so I can get a job. I mean, if there's going to be a fine somewhere, I got to pay it somehow. Otherwise, sitting in there anyway, so the $15, $30 a day that they're going to screw me over with later anyhow, like they did my license.
I don't think you'll be able to pay that, but I understand.
You know, I got to do something with myself. Sitting in there, it ain't going to do nothing.
Yes.
Brick walls, same TV show all day long.
What show do they watch?
Well, I like the History Channel, but it's the auctions and whatever that making metal. The name of that is. I'm more into the superheroes and G.I. Joe shows.
Excuse me, what time of day did you say?
That would be 8:30. It can be accelerated. Court will execute a petition for competency evaluation.
So is that for 8:30 or 1 on that?
8:30.
Thank you.
The prelim would be the following week, which would be September 24th. All right. Miss Lisa from the jail is going to come meet with you. You're always polite, respectful, cordial. We just have a fundamental disagreement on your ownership of this property.
He did share with me today that if he was released, he would probably go to Keystone and ask for housing assistance.
All right. We'll hear what Lisa has to say. All right, Mr.
How long
Hicks.
would that be if she does, if I can get to Keystone? Because by September, they're not going to want to put me in there. I mean, maybe if they ain't said like the last time that they spent money. I mean, I was just about having employment where we were before I got over here, but you know, it ain't going to do me no good in here.
All right. Well, it'll keep you safe. Keep the public safe.
Not a threat. I didn't run.
Well, you're right. Although there was a fight here with the police that I don't want to minimize.
I felt like that, you know, I sat down like I stated. I didn't throw it.
Don't tell me any more about it, Mr. Hicks, but we need to try to get to the source of this. All right. You're good to go with the officer.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks, Judge.
We tried to finesse it, but I don't think there's any finesse. I think he needs an evaluation. All right. We'll see what Lisa's got for us. Thank you both.
I believe he's sincere in his belief. I mean, obviously, they're not factually based, but
Well, he said to me, you asked me, and he's right, I did. But we're not getting anywhere. And we could have a prelim and present probable cause evidence, but the same problem would exist in circuit court. And then you'd have a competency evaluation. So we might as well bite the bullet, and I'll do the order here forthwith. Thank you.
all right. I guess my concern is like yours is whatever day you let him out, I suspect he's going to go right back there.